what I've learned this year. Faith. It's important to have. Just not even just with clothing brand, just in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your daily day. And like I said, that's not a big thing that I worry about anymore, failure, but faith and just putting things in God's hands. So we can't do everything by ourselves. We weren't meant to do to handle anxiety and stuff daily by ourselves. So.
Welcome to CurbTalks Podcast. We're on the curb today. If you're butthurt, stand up, stretch, and let's get straight to it.
Yes, sir. We are back with another episode. It's CurbTalks, Season 4, Episode 6. And today we have a very, very special guest with us.
Very big guest with us today.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Z, CEO and founder of Zella Fermani.
Zella Fermani. I know y'all know that brand. I know that brand. I got the pants on right now. I know that brand.
I appreciate it.
So we can kick it off by asking this one question. What is your curb moment? Like, what is your curb talk for?
It would definitely be talking with my husband.
Where?
In a car.
In the car?
Car rides.
Rides?
What type of conversation would you guys say you have? Like, just talking about life, everything like that?
Yeah, we talk about life, our goals, and the future. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's good.
Zella. What's next for Zella, of course.
Yeah, I know that's probably definitely a conversation that you have often. Like, what's next?
Yeah.
I know with us, it's definitely what's next.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing next?
Yeah.
What are you doing next?
For sure.
So.
Yeah.
Especially like when a moment of change comes into your life, you have to figure out like, what do you do next? Like, what's the next move? So.
Yeah, and I'm a perfectionist, so I have to know like what's next for me in order for me to keep going too. So. Yeah.
Does you being a perfectionist does that hinder sometimes when you release?
Yeah. That's why it kind of takes me a long time too, because I'm probably overthinking it. And I just want everything to be perfect. I know it's impossible, but that's just my vision. That's just who I am.
And was the sweaters the last thing you dropped?
Yes, I'm dropping these December 17th. So that was I couldn't even really fully give out my full layout of how I wanted to do the campaign and stuff. Really? Yeah. So.
Tell us what the campaign was supposed to be, what it was, if you want to.
Okay, I wanted to kind of capture a love story. So a cardigan love story was the background of it, right? So I was gonna have a couple, both wearing the cardigans in DC, Georgetown, whatever actually, and just maybe out to eat, walking, and just capturing both the couple in the orange and the black and white cardigan.
Okay.
So, that was my vision this time, but it didn't happen that way.
Okay.
And that's another thing about, having a brand, the mishaps of things not happening the way that you need it to happen. So that can be frustrating at times.
Definitely. We definitely gonna get into all of that for sure.
Yeah.
So like, take us back. Well, how did everything start? How does Zella Fermani even become an idea?
That's funny. So I was in high school. I played basketball.
Okay.
I was a tomboy, so I loved
What position?
Point guard.
Okay.
I love tennis shoes. So, back then, wearing tennis shoes and hoodies were considered a tomboy.
Yeah.
And to me, I just really had an appreciation for shoes and basketball.
Okay.
So I wanted to identify myself as a girly girl and a tomboy. So I wanted to have an alter ego. And that's when Zella Fermani came into play. Now, what people don't realize is Zella Fermani was never supposed to be a clothing brand. Now, I was and I was always sketching as a kid, but it wasn't supposed to be that way. Like I was supposed to be in technology, the whole nine, and then I was in photography. I did that for some time, and Zella Fermani came into play. I used the logo, and then I made a bomber jacket. And once I made the bomber jacket, everyone was like, "You should make a clothing brand. You already, dress well."
What did that bomber jacket look like?
It was regular.
It
was a regular bomber jacket. Bomber jacket. Was really popular. That's why I did it. But it wasn't a manufactured bomber jacket. It was one from like Forever 21.
Okay.
And I just put my logo on it, and they went crazy. And I just like,
okay,
this is the one. But yeah, I didn't have a manufacturer back then though. But yeah, that's pretty much the backstory on Zella.
Damn. So like, you started a bomber jacket. Did you ever have a moment of doubt when you started, or was it like people like this? I'm just gonna keep going.
Of course. I mean, I talked to my mom about it, and she was like, I wanted to go to fashion school at that time because I was still in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was like, no, you need to go to school for technology. And so I always kind of pushed Zella to the side. I did a few caps and sold those, and bleached them and did the whole nine, but I didn't really take it that far.
So what was the moment when you actually started to take it like more seriously?
When I lost my job.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I had got. I wouldn't say I got fired, but they didn't see. Well, I guess I got fired.
Okay.
I got fired from my job, and they basically told me like I had 2 weeks or so to pretty much find something else. And I was doing Zella, but not full time. So during work, I was on the computer and I would get called doing Zella stuff.
Oh.
And so I guess they felt like Zella was, something that I should be pursuing full time, and I didn't believe that. So I only had like $1,000 left, and it was either make the pants that you have on.
So this is like the
make or break it. Yeah.
This is my senior year.
Because think about it, we took those pictures to slide your senior year. That was my year.
Or we get the yellow one?
Yes, bro.
Did I took a picture. I got flicks. For real?
I think you might be right. I definitely remember seeing it on IG around that time.
Yeah, that's crazy. I forgot I dropped yellow.
Yeah. So it's a cool moment.
Wow.
Actually,
I do remember that picture. But you was the only. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You was the only one who probably killed it.
Let's go. Let's go. I like it.
Yes, I have.
Nah, she commented.
I commented. Everybody, yeah.
We gonna put the picture on the screen.
I'm like 30 now. I'm not saying that you got 30. I'm like good now.
I'm 30. I definitely remember that. Yes.
Thank you. We put the pieces together. I was like, bro, these things such a lot of time. I seen them. I'm like, all right, bet. They're yellow though. And I'm like, I'm gonna wear them.
Right.
So all right, I got the shirt.
That's so great.
And I was like, bet. I'm just the forces. They did DC. Boom.
Yeah. Because like I said, the yellow was probably the hardest color for people because it's like, what do I do?
What do you wear with the
But I remember that fit. As soon as you showed me, I was like, yeah, I remember. That's so long ago, too. That's so crazy. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's so crazy.
That's actually tough. That's all right. It's all right.
But yeah, it was definitely the cargo pants that make or break like what I was going to do. Like I said, I only had $1,000.
Wow.
And so,
so at the time when you realized that's what you had to do, did you already have the concept already? Or did you
yeah. I mean, at that time it was like crunch time because it was like I don't want to work for anyone else, and I didn't want to look for a job, so I designed those and I put them in. A manufacturer had hit me up and was like, "We want to work for you." And I was like, "All right, cool." Like I don't know what's this. So I never had a manufacturer, so this was my first manufacturer.
Wow.
I sent him the pants and he crushed them, and I was like, "Dang, like." This could really make or break, but I would tell you, I went through a whole process with those cargo pants.
Really?
I didn't know the sizing. Like I said, I didn't go to school for this. It's self-taught. So I had to fix the size because all the cargo pants were all the same size.
Right. Really?
Yes. Yeah. That's how bad it was.
Wow. So you have to trick over how to make it bigger.
Yes. And someone finally had said to me, I ordered a small, and a small is like the large. And it was like, how do I? So I had to lay out each pair of cargos to figure out how I can make it fit you, myself, and him all differently because we're all different shapes.
Yeah.
And so once I figured that out, it got better. I had less returns. It was just smooth selling. It's probably my favorite thing that I've made. And it still can sell out to this day, so that's a good thing too.
Yeah, because I definitely remember like when I think I had missed a drop or something like that. So like I didn't have to realize it hadn't dropped yet. So then around the time I wanted to get it, I wanted my size was gone. I was like, damn, so I have to wait for the Rio. And the Rio came, I missed that too. I was like, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
my friend literally said DM y'all
for a pair of pants.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, back then it was.
No, this was recent.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to move forward.
So how long did when you dropped the pants? Like, what was your marketing scheme? Like, how did you just drop it and they blew? Like how was that whole process?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I just knew I needed a photo shoot to market them.
Yeah.
And once again, that was my first photo shoot for real, with a photographer. So I really didn't have no direction. I really asked him to help me kind of get through it, right? And I had a model, my friend who was a model, so it worked. But I didn't really have no marketing scheme. I just pretty much went into it, just see what happened, and it ended up selling out. I was only making a little bit at the time anyway, because I didn't know what was going to happen. But I still remember this picture of me just sitting by a bunch of post office boxes, just like surrounded by them. It was just probably the greatest.
Real moment for you.
Yeah,
So talk more about that moment, when you realized I'm selling out. How did that make you feel? That give you extra motivation? But can you describe how you felt at that time?
I felt amazing. I felt like at this point, I don't have to go back to work. Right. I can live off these things forever. And it definitely motivated me to actually figure out what I wanted to do. Because at that time, still to this day, I make clothes for myself and for my customers. I like to be comfortable. So those cargo pants fit me to my standards and what my everyday clothes look like. So it definitely motivated me. And then he put my clothes on, and after that, because I was done after that. Right. And once he put it on, I was like, give me the color book. Like the manufacturer sent me the book of colors. It's like, go ahead, just make all types of colors.
Talk about the impact of E on your brand and also on the DMV, because I feel like a lot of people might not even know what he did. Cause I remember when I was in high school and he started coming out. We had the E keychains, the stickers, the shirts.
If you had an E shirt,
you got an E shirt. Talk about his impact.
His impact was, to me, it was great, because I got to. He's actually a friend of mine, so I got to see. Sometimes just at his pop-ups and how he would sell out, how everybody, you couldn't at some point you couldn't get a sticker unless you purchased something, and that's why I got my idea from. You can't even get a sticker without purchasing a shirt, right? He wasn't giving them to you for free, and so just people wanting the stickers and just to be a part of such a movement, and then the New Balance and just giving brands a something to look forward to, or just motivation, period. What he did was amazing to me. And he's definitely someone that I looked up to.
Yeah, I think especially now, and then we're seeing brands coming up left and right, and everything. So I back in the day, I don't really think it was as many at all. So he's kind of one of the few pioneers, and just seeing how that was able to grow up, and then from there, people started getting inspired. Now, like you said, you were inspired, and it just kind of took off from there. So like you said, people don't really realize the kind of credit we kind of have to give.
And I think it's important too that we give people their flowers while they're here, because some people need that to continue to keep going. Because as a clothing designer, it's times where we hit rock bottom and we don't know what's next for us, and just to receive those flowers from our customers, or I even got a couple of DMs the other day, I want to say a couple of months ago, when I felt like everything just was what am I doing? And for those people to say, you inspire me and you make me want to do this, and I watch and study your page, and I'm just like, my page? I'm no Gucci, I'm not right at all pages. So to hear that, I definitely think it's important to give, people their flowers while they're here.
Right. I think that's one thing about our platform that we definitely pride ourselves in the upcoming people, or people who have made it, who are going to make it, give them the flowers, let them know.
People who aren't as big, they definitely deserve as well.
Because no matter how big or small you are, everybody goes to them phases where you feel like what you're doing isn't important. You feel like they're not really making an impact. I've definitely felt like that. And somebody was like, "Oh, I watched an episode to really figure out how I wanted to make my clothes because of the person that we had on." And she was talking about how she make her clothes and stuff like that. I'm like, damn, really? Because so we hear that impact, and we're like, but we have to keep going. People actually listen, people actually tune into us. So it's up to us to really put great content out there, not just put clickbait.
For sure. Yes. That for sure.
So I talk more I know you say we going high school, like you had your own style type of thing. Does Zella Fermani is like the clothing brand really inspired by your style and yourself, and like how do you feel like you develop your style as you grow up?
It's inspired by my style. That's a great question. Yeah, but I had my style. As far as my style, I'm all over the place. I'm like a Tiana Taylor, but still want to be sexy and girly. But growing up, it wasn't a lot of like streetwear. In my family, they weren't like wearing like crazy streetwear clothes or anything. But just seeing my grandma get ready for worship and her in her fur coats, and my mom in their heels and their well put together. That definitely inspired me to want to definitely hit that side of it, that sexy, well manner, and that's what Zella Fermani came to play. She was supposed to be the elegant side of who I was and who I wanted to be. And yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's amazing. So like, when it comes to like, it's just trying to like inspire, like you design things like that. Like, what do you think like you pull from when it's time like creating new, when it's time to create a new sweater, trying to create some new pants? What do you try to like draw from? What's your inspiration really?
Just the brands around me that I love, like Virgil. Rest in peace. Virgil was definitely the way he went about streetwear. Definitely inspired me to put my own twist to it and do different things and play around with different things. When I made this cardigan, I thought about how I want to be comfortable, just cozy. Like I love to be cozy. Like Essentials, Fear of God, Jerry Lorenzo is my favorite brand because it hones on just simplicity. And that's who I am, right? So I haven't made nothing really crazy because that's not who I am. I'm more simple and I'm textures and just comfortability.
So talk for you. So you went from sweatpants. What was next after the sweatpants? What did you make next?
You mean what did I make next, or what am I gonna make next?
No, like after you did the sweatpants, like what was?
Oh, okay. That was the hardest thing ever because I didn't know what to make next.
Okay.
You know, the cargos was booming so much that I didn't know what to do next. I didn't know what people will accept next because they was every DM was about the cargos.
Yeah.
And so when I did make something new, it was like, well, what about the cargos?
Yeah.
So at that point, I just made hoodies to match the cargos.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I made a few different hoodies to match a few colors, and yeah, after that it was just kind of like I don't know what to do. I have to get away from these cargos.
Yeah.
And so then the puffer coat came, and that was great. And then I made this print. So around that time, I was looking for something for Zella. Came up with the print, did a black and white type of. I gave the guy a black and white board, and I told him I wanted something to my name to be within the print, and that's how the Fermani print.
That's a great sweater, by the way.
Thank
It was like great quality too.
Thank you.
That's tough.
So like, did you try to like? I think it's something like very interesting, like the print. Like a lot of times, like a lot of brands, sometimes they just slap their logo on something, and then boom, it's automatically $200 more than what before. You know what I'm saying? So like, how did you try to figure like? Was like doing the print trying to do something different? Because I seen how many brands would like have prints of their own logo. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something that's very impressive. Like, what was the like mindset with that? Was it, like more sort of trying to stand out type of thing, or just like just trying to keep elevating your brand?
Both, honestly. Like I said, trying to get away from the cargo. So it was like, what can I do to kind of set myself apart from everyone else? And having a print like Louis, you can use it for so many things and however long. So that's a part of who I am and a part of the brand. So the print just was a staple, you know, and I, as you see, like I can use it. I'm using it within a mohair cardigan. Like that's interesting. You know, I don't want to keep my brand interested for as long as I can.
I think we're talking about that too, like even before the podcast about change and how a lot of us we don't like change, but you knew it was important that I have to step away from the cargos because you know you don't want your brand to be like, oh, that's the cargo brand. Like, you know what I'm saying? You want to be more than that. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to like talk about that, how important it was to like change and always evolve over time and keep evolving for like brands that are currently might be listening or brands that are about other people about something brand. How important is it to evolve?
I think it's important because your customers can keep you stagnant for as long as you let them. And I had to get in front of that because I would have been making cargos still to this day and nothing else following. And so I had to make sure that I elevated my brand and that the customers who still wanted to be on the cargo side, they gotta go. But for the people who were ready to move forward with me and my elevation, I had to I had to move on. That's pretty much what it is. You're in control. Like someone asked me the other day about branding, and I was like, you're in control of your brand. Mm-hmm. This is your brand. You make what makes you happy. You do what makes you happy. And the people who's gonna follow you are gonna follow you. And that's just what it is. Each level in life, you're gonna get a new set of people, new set of customers. So you just gotta take it.
So as you're like going through the time on your ball, like what do you try to prove? Not necessarily like what do you try to like focus on when you're trying to figure out the next big thing? Like is it more of a okay, I see like you identify something inside your brand that's lacking or something that you want to improve on, or is it more so of a what can I what can I do different? What do you think you try to like tackle when you try to figure out something new?
All three, honestly. And I try to also hone in to what this area isn't doing. Because the fashion world is always keeping up with each other, right? And everybody's doing the same thing, we're doing it different. So why it takes me so long is because I'm trying to do something different from everybody else, and just trying to just be different. Like that's separating. I'm trying to separate myself every time I make something new, and that's just pretty much how I go about designing the next thing and what keeps me focused.
I would honestly, I don't know. I think I would hate to make clothes, like, because you got to think about it. In the DMV, the standards are high.
Yeah.
As though, like, I feel like in terms of fashion, the DMV is up there. Like, everybody here could at least dress to some degree. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then for yourself, the standards are also higher. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now you got to meet the area standards and your standards. It's like, I feel like that will keep me stuck for a very long time once I figure out how to create something.
How you think I feel? It's just every day. Imagine I'm doing this. This is my 9 to 5, so I have to figure out this every day, like what is going to make me different. Excuse me, from the other people, from the other brands, and no shade, but it's just separation. Always for me. So it is hard. It's a hard 9 to 5.
Yeah, I can only imagine because even doing this podcast, like there'll be times we're sitting here like brainstorming, and like nothing is coming to us. I'm like, bro, what are you supposed to do? Like, I can only imagine it's like that's your life. Like you only have to do this. So if this doesn't work, like we have to, so I can only imagine how that is. Can you talk about like how do you try to like handle those type of pressures, like when it comes to like trying to figure out something new, or if you're struggling with something, how do you try to like get past it? Like, can you just talk more about your struggles and how do you try to overcome it?
I cry. I cry. I pray, and I try to keep myself motivated, because making clothes and going through the steps of manufacturers and and just setting up the whole shoot and measure, it's challenging. It's not easy, and of course, when you put your blood, sweat, and tears in it, and nobody purchases it, that's even worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get that sellout like you used to, and that's the worst part of it all. Like, I did all of this, and then people look at you.
They're not receiving it
right, and that's what I get from this area sometimes. Like, some of the things that I make, it may not be something that, like a tracksuit. Let's just say the DMV likes their tracksuits. I personally don't like tracksuits. You know what I'm saying? And if I do want to make a tracksuit, I want to make a leather tracksuit. I want that thing to be popping. But not a lot of people kind of gravitate to that. So it's like, it's a hit or miss sometimes with the DMV. I love them, and I'm thankful for the DMV. I have my customers outside of the DMV as well, so that works. But the DMV, I have to still cater to them because I'm here, and I want to see them in my garments. So it's a challenge to make sure I'm keeping up with what these guys are wearing, what the local rappers are wearing, and how I can fit in to make them look good and different as well. So.
Like, I think you said something that's really important. Like how do you separate yourself, but also make it for the masses? But still put yourself in, like, put your like what's the word? Imprint on it. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like you don't like tracksuits, but your audience likes tracksuits. So if you're gonna make a tracksuit, how do you make a tracksuit that you're gonna like, but also your audience will like? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Simple. The fabric I use, the little details that's in there that most people will kind of overthink. That's kind of how I do it. I mean, I made a tracksuit before. Had 2 pockets, had a zipper, had zipper on the pants, and then I had a PVC label, that rubber label, on it to make it different.
Okay.
So it's just making sure that you add those finer details to separate yourself. That most, like I said, most people are overthinking.
Right.
Yeah. So
I think a lot of times it can be in the details.
Yeah.
Sometimes the details could be there, but you don't realize like those details are what making it. Like, sometimes you can, if you take away those details, and you will really, it'll be a whole different type of piece.
And the colors too. Like a lot of people may go a simple route and just picking a broader color. Or like I said, fabric is important as well. So it's the details. It's the details in the garment that's going to make me separate from someone else, if necessary.
Did you like when you talked about like making stuff like the music scene and the rap scene? You know what I'm saying? Like, was there any like notable in the DMV rap like people that wore new stuff?
I would definitely say Big Flock. When he got home, I gave him a coat and I gave him some pants, and he wore the coat, put the coat on, did a video. That went crazy. But yeah, Big Flock, Flex Cartel. He helped me get to Wale. Shout out to Flex. Wale put my stuff on. No pictures on the internet, but Wale has been seen as Zella by me, so that's all that matters. But definitely, Wale put me in the song.
Okay.
And so, it's called New Balances on his latest album. He mentioned Zella Fermani. So shout out to Wale.
That's tough. Yeah. But like your friends have to be like, yo, like,
what's so crazy is somebody I heard it, but I didn't hear it. It was just weird, right? And somebody was like, they sent me the lyrics, and I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, Wale just said your name on the song, and I'm like, crazy. I did all I listened to. I said, oh my god, say my song. Wale and Big Flock too. So it's like it was tough, and I got to go and meet him. And I met him before, but I got to meet him at the album release party. We took a picture and just talked about fashion and stuff. So it was great. It was a full circle moment for me, honestly.
That's tough.
That's very tough. I think like Wale is. I think one thing we gotta give credit to Wale. He's people who actually always be credit to DMV. Like,
we gotta give props to Wale.
Yeah, we got to. I think a lot of times people. Wale get corny, but I'm like, bro, Wale is like he's the pioneer to this. Like, if there's no Wale,
he's a trailblazer for real. Like Wale realized he's like one of the first like DMV rappers I really know like made it, and also like make sure you try to help him.
He's still around here. Like even with fashion, he's still tapped in all the time.
So. I used to listen to Wale going to school, and it was the Ambitious album, whatever, I forgot what that name of it, but the Ambitious album, yes. And I listened to that album walking to school, like just trying to get motivated for my day, and just to hear him say Zella Fermani in the song. Just sit here and think about it. It's actually crazy. It's really
that's crazy. What I'm saying. Like you gotta I guess one thing I'm looking for right now is the full circle moments. Like even interviewing you right now, like a full circle moment like we talked about before the podcast. So it's like those full circle moments when you create stuff really helps keep you going. Cause you're like, bro, I literally was either buying stuff or I was listening to you, I was doing this, but now we're in the same room together. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
So it's just like your talents really, your God-given talent really gets you to the door. But it's like, well, what are you gonna do with them? You know what I'm saying?
And I think like a lot of times, like, especially like full circle moment, right? It's always interesting, right? I remember recently I was saying, so Argentina's in the World Cup, and recently like one of the players they used to be like in a camp or something like that, and they see Messi, like, oh my God, it's Messi. Next thing you know, he's literally in the stands, and Messi's hugging him because he just scored a goal. I can only imagine how like crazy that is, you know what I'm saying? Just that full circle moment. So, like, and even like with Big Flock, I think that Big Flock like one of the big pioneers, especially with DMV rap. And I think Big Flock really needs his flowers too. I think when he went home, he was so big to the point, and when he went home, he kind of was able to lose that traction. But like at least now when he's able to come back, he showed you love, and like just that love is keep going, and like, he's able to gain some more traction.
The thing is, Big Flock is still cranking, bro.
Yeah,
he's still cranking. I don't know what song it was that you just put out, but that's on cranking.
Yeah.
And something you said that was very interesting earlier is about like the DMV kind of like cater to the DMV. Can you talk more about that? Like, because a lot of times you hear champions like that. So like, especially in the DMV, like a lot of times something that can be made sweet, if it's not like the standard in the DMV, you're gonna have to make it work. Like people gonna have to accept that at some point. Did you ever like find challenges when it comes to like trying to adapt to the DMV, since that's kind of like where you started, like your brand is kind of like where your audience is for the most part, or is it like if you like it, you like it type of thing?
Yeah, I would say in the beginning, I was trying to cater to them as much as possible. And I still do to this day. Like, my next thing that I'm working on, it's not a tracksuit, but it is some sweatpants that kind of will fit perfectly for the DMV. So things like that. I'm always thinking about the DMV, but I'm also always trying to broaden my demographic and hit different areas. But the DMV, I'm always thinking about them.
Have you ever thought about leaving?
That is a great question. That is a great question. I thought about leaving, but I feel like people, when I tell people this, they're like, "Oh, you're crazy. You should leave." But I want to leave my imprint here for as long as I'm here. Like I want to stay here. I want to turn the fashion world around here. I want to do what California is doing with ComplexCon. You know, I want to have those things here. I want us to be back known as the fashion house of DMV like how we used to be. So I don't plan on leaving, but it has been a thought. But I just like the thought of just, like I said, I don't like change. And so just starting over and trying to build from scratch right at this very moment when I have the crowd that I have, it's just like, I can wait it out if necessary, but I don't plan on leaving.
Where would you want to go if you left?
Probably LA or New York.
Okay.
Or Atlanta.
Okay.
Good hot spots.
Yeah.
I think that's very interesting, like what you said. Like, I think that's something very important. Like, I think if more brands had your mindset, it would kind of be easier. Like if more brands were like, "Oh, not like this is where I'm from the DMV, so let's turn the DMV up, and then let's let this become something bigger." And then as opposed to us having to go to Cali, as opposed to having to go to New York to see what the fashion at. Like now, we need people coming to our city. You know what I'm saying? Because like we said, we can acknowledge like the DMV, like people can dress in the DMV. Even Kanye himself has said like the DMV has inspired him with like fashion. So if more brands kind of have the same mindset you have, like let's we're here now, so instead of like let's get out of here, because people have that kind of mentality, let's get out of here. You know what I'm saying? But instead of channeling that, to like let's turn the city up and then see where that can take you.
Because think about Joe Fresh Goods. He's from Chicago, and he had a store featuring brands in his area. Joe Fresh Goods can come to DC, have a whole line wrapped around the city for his shoes, but if we did that there, we couldn't. So it's like I just want the DMV to focus on what we have and build us up so that we can go and do what they do. Because it's just we just have to support each other more in the DMV area. And I think that's the most important thing. We always give love to everybody else except for the people that we have here that could possibly do the same thing that the other person has done.
And the thing is, I feel like a revolution is coming because like this is not the first time somebody in your city has said that to us.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like other people are feeling this way, but it's like I don't know. I guess
who's gonna do it?
Yeah. I think it's just like. Well, like you said, I think like
is it up to us? It might be up to us to connect everybody because like everybody keep coming on our seat saying the same thing. Yeah. So it's like we could really like put everybody together. Like we interviewed them.
It was wrong. Just talking about this.
We was, bro.
Just talking about this. Like I was telling them, I want DC fashion to be better than her.
Yeah.
I want it to be like you come to DC and we're walking around in our fits. Yeah. We're walking around Zella Fermani like, what brand is that?
Yeah.
Bro, like we can do this, bro. Like, cause it's like I don't know. Hearing it again is like, why am I hearing this the second time?
And the only reason why I succeed is because we don't support each other. Bro.
Yeah.
It's crabs and burrow mentality. Yeah. I mean, once we start supporting each other, and it's not even you don't have to always spend your money. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what people are so gun-ho about. You can support me by reposting, and you had just like Eat did. Eat had a lot of followers at the time, and what he did was put pants on, and those followers came to my page. So it's just about making sure that we keep all each other. Like, just you need a repost, cool. Like I got 17.5 or whatever the case may be. Like just simply making sure that we keep. It's one big old family, but people not thinking like that. They want to be outdoing the other person. So when we have that mentality, we'll never be great.
Everybody want to be him. Everyone had emotion. Yeah. Like, it's not like people don't want to share it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to share it. I think like it's going to have to be platforms like this where people aren't like people will show love, but they're not going to be vocal about it. But at least if they can have a platform where let's speak about it, type of thing. Like you said, I want to do this too. I'm sure there's going to be people watching this who's going to be like, I want to do that too. Maybe someone might want to reach out and things like that too. So I think it's like like you said, it can't be a coincidence of wearing this again. You know what I'm saying? So, I think it's possible. Like the DMV has so much talent and potential. Like there's no way it's not going to happen.
Exactly. So. And when I leave here, of course, I'm going to tag you guys and say thank you for coming, and then you get more traction that way. So it's just like it's just a matter of making sure everybody's
and making sure like you got the nice team around you, everybody genuine. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I thought that's my biggest thing. Like, making sure everybody's pure around you. Like everybody got a pure intention.
Yes,
like,
me too.
Bad intentions.
Me too.
That was doing the whole thing.
Me
You know
too.
what I'm saying? Like, and talk about how protective you are over Zella Fermani. Like that's really your baby. You know what I'm saying?
That's
probably your firstborn. You know what I'm saying?
That's my firstborn. That's my firstborn.
Blood, sweat, and tears into that.
Yeah.
Like, how protective. Like how good is it to see it flourish? You know what I'm saying? In times, how bad is it to see people not support sometimes?
It's amazing to see it. Sometimes I don't really get a chance to really think about what I have done because time is moving so fast and I move on to the next thing. But like having a place here to just think about like, wow, I did this and my name was in a song. It just helps me remember like how far I've came and how far like the brand is. And it's not just clothes that I want to do. I want to do cooking utensils and stuff like that.
Okay.
And, I want to do furniture. Like I had an idea the other day about a couch and a table, and just trying to broaden my brand out so it just won't be so surface level.
Yeah.
I want to do more than just clothes because the name itself can do anything, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely have high hopes for Zella.
Right. Can you talk about more like you mentioned like support? Like, how would you describe it, like your support system? Like who like obviously like even we talk about with CurbTalks, we can't do CurbTalks without you. We can't do it without our team. So like who would you describe as like your support system, and how important is that to you and the brand?
Well, God, for sure. My husband and my creative director. I would say this year my creative director has been on it as far as just making sure that everything we're going to do and designs and just helping me because in the beginning of the year I couldn't really focus and still to this day like I'm still trying to figure out what's next and I was beating me up this entire year. So for me to give him the ideas that I have and for him to execute them wouldn't be nothing without him, especially this year. So, and then my mother and just family and friends supporting me and just reposting and liking and commenting under images that I have, Zella or whatever. So, yeah, they definitely keep me going.
You go ahead.
How would you say what is the importance of a creative record to Zella Fermani?
The importance of the creative director for Zella Fermani is crucial because some days I may not have those ideas constantly coming in, and that's when he comes in. I may give him a slight idea to what I'm thinking, and he can go from there. That's how good he is. And he'll tell me like what's trending that I haven't seen yet. You know what I'm saying? He's good at forecasting that too. I just think he's very important to Zella, and he wasn't there in the beginning. I still was doing fine. But having him here, it helped me elevate and see things from a different perspective.
What's a job description like that look like? If you're looking for a creative director, what type of things are you looking for?
For me, he pretty much helps me foresee things and creatively come together with ideas and photo shoots and how things should be placed and even just the fondness of buttons and stuff like that and what's the new detail that we haven't used. Like it's just little things like that. I mean, he's one of my closest friends too, so we've been friends for a long time. So he's pretty much he knows me and my aesthetic and what I want to do for Zella. So
one thing I always got to give credit to like the creators out there. Like I'm a guy where it's like sometimes I'll see something if I can't see like a clear explanation to it, I'm just like, nah, it's not making sense. Like some people in this world who are going to be like, well, I see this. Now this could be better. I'm like, what do you mean it could be better? And then they do their thing, and the next come back with it, and it was way better. I'm like, how did you even like think to do that? So I will always give credit to like creators in this world. So like you see, even with you, like just because obviously you have to be able to like figure out I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Like it's just amazing because like especially to keep coming ideas, it can't be easy. It's just shout out to y'all for that.
Thank you.
Did you when you first started? Was there somebody who told you don't do it? But was it like it could be a hater, it could be somebody who didn't see the vision, it could be anybody. Was there somebody that was like, I don't know, You know what I'm saying?
I hate to put her on the spot, but my mom. My mom was definitely the one who said that she didn't want me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted me to go to school and pursue higher education and get a job in technology because I love technology as well, computers and all that. I've been playing with computers for all my life. So that wasn't far-fetched, but it was just like she just did not see the vision. And as parents, as I sit back now, I understand as a parent, you want your kid to do what's right for them and that's what's best for them, and not a clothing brand that may fail or may go up, So my mom definitely is my biggest supporter now. It took her some time, but she seen the impact that I was making, especially with the cargos when I first made those, and they was helping me package up items and take them to the post office. So it's a full circle moment once again to see her go from no to yes, and I was able to help her, financially. It's just been a full circle.
Yeah, even speak more now. Like I know, like a lot of times, like just a lot of people in this world who want to do something, but because of like their parents, just like that's not safe for you to do type of thing. Yeah. How did you like stand on your own 10 toes and just like stay set firm on yourself and be like, no, I'm gonna keep doing this, even with the pushback? Because like we all value our parents' opinion, So how did you try to like navigate that?
Well, when I lost my job, I mean, it was pretty much I had to prove a point, not to just her, but to myself. So I definitely would just say keep going and show them, because how I tell people, support yourself first before you get support that you expect support from others. Because once they see yourself taking it serious, then they'll respect it, and then they'll probably say, okay, she's going a little harder for this than she normally do. And I haven't seen her so dedicated. So just support yourself, and that's how I pretty much got my mom on board. I was grinding, I was up, I was showing her stuff, kind of like, man, this what do you think about this? And or my grandma wanted clothes more than she did, so it's like, oh, your grandma want more clothes than me, so it was like a catch up game. So yeah, I mean, I had to definitely convince people that I was serious about Zella.
Yeah, I feel like we just had a lot of show about it, like fear to fearless, like and a lot of times we forget the fear of our parents might stop us from doing something, but now like you're fearless about it, you know what I'm saying? Your mom's probably fearless about it, like really just like overcoming those fears. Like it's like we have to overcome our fears. Yeah. They have to overcome our parents' fears, our family's fears, you know what I'm saying? Friends' fears, you know what I'm saying? All those fears just to get to this level. And these are work behind the scenes that people do not see.
They don't see it. And if they seen it, they'd be okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But you have to why they're so hard on us, because if their parents were hard on them, it's generational curses coming on down to us. And I think this generation is trying to show their parents, like, I can have my own business at 18. Like, we don't have to go to get a job and get a resume like you guys had to do back in the day. So shout out to this generation being fearless and doing what they want to do and not even think about their parents.
So something like fears, like what fears, like throughout this whole process of Zella Fermani, what fears have you had, and like have you ever seen any of these fears like just being relinquished, like just being like, oh wow, you're not scared of this anymore because you've seen the results?
My daily fear is failure. I just fear it, and it's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. And I've failed, and I've been able to get back up, and I think that right there keeps me going. Just seeing that, oh, this happened, you was able to bounce back, and you're being consistent, and you're that. I think we have to go through failures in order to be greater. And but fear of failure was definitely something that knocks on my door every now and then. Just not knowing the unknown, and that's crazy to put on yourself, but it's just like, I'm human.
I think that's where God comes in. Though. Like with that unknown, like we're always gonna be afraid of the unknown. Right? That's where like, all right, we leave the unknown to God.
Yeah, and that's what faith comes into. I had learned that for sure. It was in my face this year. That's what I've learned this year. Faith. It's important to have. Just not even just with clothing brand, just in life. Your daily day. And like I said, that's not a big thing that I worry about anymore, failure, but faith and just putting things in God's hands. So we can't do everything by ourselves. We weren't meant to do to handle anxiety and stuff daily by ourselves. So
I think like failure, I feel failure is one of the few healthy fears, if you would. Like if you have a healthy fear of failure, you're not gonna let yourself get complacent. You're not gonna be mediocre because you don't want to fail. But I think it's one of the few healthy things. And I
But it could get unhealthy. I feel like
it can.
Like OCD, especially
if OCD.
And if you're like, you're really just going out your way to make sure you don't fail. So you're just doing crazy stuff to succeed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
I'm on the healthy side. I'm on the healthy side.
I think so.
I'm on the healthy side. I just want to keep it getting better and better. I don't want. I'm not going crazy.
Were you ever on the unhealthy side? And if you were, how did you make that transition?
Was I ever on the unhealthy side? That's a good question. I'll have to come back to. Was I ever? Yeah, I'll come back to that. That's a good question. It threw me off. That was a good one. Yeah. No, yeah, because I'm like, yeah, I would say I was on the unhealthy side if I sit and think about it. It could get a little obsessive, and you could put all your eggs in a basket just to kind of like succeed, and it's just like it's unhealthy for me per se. Like, just all right, I'm about to do it. Like, sometimes that's not good for me to just do that. I have to think things through. So yeah, I've been on the unhealthy side of things before.
And I think that like I said, like failure is one of the few things. Like, especially I think that's something that I really learned. Like something you said that was very important to me. Is like you need like those type of guys to like bring you down so they can like get even better at the time. I think like especially things that I've gone through in the past, like recent year. I think that this 2022 has been a year where I've kind of like seen I know I have to work, and I've seen myself like get to that point. And like I feel like I'm a better person because of the failures I have, like in the past. And like just having that faith, like just knowing that something that my mom said and my parents always say this is very important is just like work as if everything depends on you, and then pray as if everything depends on God. You know what I'm saying? I think that's like something I'm slowly but surely trying to like incorporate into my life. Like work as hard as I can and just know like everything that I can't do everything myself. So as long as I'm praying, I'm doing what I have to, whatever you believe in, whatever you like, as long as you have that faith in yourself and the faith in whatever you believe in is only gonna help you in that case. So I think that's something I'm trying to learn.
Because like God gonna put in 50% off. He probably put a little more than 50%. We can't. Yeah, you probably like, oh, Karen, you like, come on, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So we put a little 10%, 20%, but like let God put his hand and help, help with the rest. So like I know like they can get obsessive. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I really can get obsessive. So like, how do you stop yourself, or how did you overcome the obsession of like your mind is constantly racing about Zella Fermani, how are you gonna get to the next level, what you gonna do next, to the point where you're like you might be not neglecting other things, but like you're just not as present as much.
Here's what I found.
Siri trying to answer for you.
That was a good question. You guys are good questions. That is a great question. Wow. I'm trying to figure out the right words to answer that.
I think we have good questions.
Yeah.
We try our best.
You guys are great at this. You're about to add that to the comeback. Dang.
All right, let's make a list.
No, really, that was good.
Yeah. So like Zella Fermani, like when it comes to like, so you said it's very like you want to like expand and do a whole bunch of different things. Where do you see Zella Fermani in the future? Is it like especially like things like Virgil said, like like off-white can be like so many different things. It can be belts, it can be so different types of things. What do you want to do? Like, do you want Zella Fermani to just not be able to put in a box, or like what do you really see for your brand in the future?
I don't want to be put in a box in the future for sure. Like I said, I want my hand in all types of different things. I want a school. I want a recreation. I want a recreation center for kids to be able to go. Because when I remember growing up, just going to the rec and playing basketball. But with my recreation, I want to have therapy sessions present for kids. I want to have different activities as far as fashion, technology. I want that recreation center to be something that they can call home, because that was home for me when I went.
Okay.
And just giving kids a broad perspective of life and teaching them different things. That's something I really want to do. I can see that in the future, having recreations all over the world for kids. And yeah, like I said, I pretty much want my hand in everything. Every time I think about something, I'm like, I want to do that.
Right.
I want to do this. Just because the name itself can be used, and so that's what another thing too. When you have a brand, make a name that can be used for many things, multi-purpose name, so that you can branch off and do this, and branch off and do that, or just all types of different things. So I definitely look forward to the future and just broaden Zella Fermani.
If you could give some advice to clothing brands that are about to start up or people listening who want to start clothing, what would you tell them?
Like I mentioned before, to make sure that you support yourself.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing that I had to learn when I first started my clothing brand. Because like I said, no one believed in Zella.
Right.
And I think supporting yourself and just finding your niche and just what makes you different. I ask myself this every day. What makes me different from this brand, this brand, this brand? So continuously asking yourself that and just put your all into it. I mean, these are things I do every day, and I'm in year 4. So it's just supporting myself, making sure I got my clientele, my demographic expanding, always thinking about how I can expand and just putting your all into it, not giving up.
That's amazing. How much do you think your childhood and like this experience like inspired your brand? You mentioned like you want to like you like going to the rec kind of like a release for you, like something that helped you. Like I think like a lot of times like we go through a lot of different things in life and they kind of make us who we are. So like I think that sometimes that kind of like translates into like whatever you're doing in your own life. Do you think that it kind of feels the same way for you, or do you think like your experiences really like help mold the brand?
Yeah, help mold me, and then me being me molds the brand. So it's like, I think my childhood plays a lot. Like I said, my grandma not too long ago told me that I would used to sketch. And she was like, I used to sketch things in this book that she had got me, and she was just telling everyone, and I couldn't really remember that, but at the same time, it's like it was kind of foggy for me. But I do remember getting on fashion websites and doing different things and going to the mall all the time every Saturday and just looking at different stuff and different shoes. So I thank my parents every day for putting me in those positions to see the world. And pretty much my childhood definitely plays a vital part in who I am today and my brand.
That's good.
So a lot of gems.
This is good. This is a good conversation, man. I'm just saying, like, damn.
Hey, but I don't even talking, so I'm shy. So it's great. I appreciate it.
A lot of them.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Before we close out, who's one person that you like to see on the show with us?
Ooh, I don't know his name, but I think he's on the back of the shirt. Yes, Mingo. Mingo. I like Mingo. I've been watching Mingo for a couple of months now. He's doing good things in the city.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So before we close it out, is there anything else you'd like to say, like your supporters, your fans, like family, supporters out there? Anything you want? Any message you want to give out to anybody?
I'm always gonna say thank you. Thank you. I'm truly thankful for all of my customers, all of the support over the last couple of years, and just thank you. Like that's all I can really say. I'm thankful for everything. Grateful for the opportunity to be here with you guys and just being celebrated and give my flowers. I want to give my flowers to everybody because everybody deserves them.
And we want to give our flowers to you too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You know, like you're up in mind, like you deserve it. Like
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Like you said, we're gonna end it off on that. Like, thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all for sitting on the curb with us today.
Be gone.